Good afternoon, dear students. So I'm a senior teacher, Alaidarova S, and in today's lesson we're going to talk about the degrees of comparison of the adjective. Положительная степень, сравнительная степень, превосходная степень. Образование степени сравнения прилагательного зависит в основном от количества условий. Degrees of comparison of the adjective, positive, comparative, and the superlative forms. One syllable adjectives, two syllable adjectives in ending way. Big, for example, it's a one syllable adjective, and the bigger, the biggest. Large, larger, the largest. Nice, nicer, the nicest. Light, lighter, the lightest. Thick, thicker, the thickest. This house is rather high. This house is higher than that one. This is the highest house in the city. So it's an example. Two syllable adjectives in ending way. Heavy, heavier, the heaviest. Easy, easier, the easiest. Pretty, prettier, the prettiest. Tasty, tastier, the tastiest. Funny, funnier, the funniest. I want to buy this funny hat. My hat is funnier than yours. His hat is the funniest one in the shop. So funny, funnier, the funniest, all the degrees of the comparison. Let's continue. Degrees of comparison of the adjective. Other two syllable adjectives, three and more syllable adjectives. Modern, more modern, the most modern. Active, more active, the most active. Wonderful, more wonderful, the most wonderful. I prefer wonderful weather to nasty when I go on a hike. Today the weather is more wonderful than it was yesterday. No doubt, today it is the most wonderful weather this month. Degrees of comparison of the adjective. Good, better, the best. Bad, worse, the worst. Little, less, the least. Many, much, more, the most. Far, farther, the farthest. Far, further, the furthest. My house is far from school. He lives in the far east. His house is farthest from school than mine. What is the farthest point in the north? Comparative constructions there and the. Тем в сравнительной степени, чем прилагательным в сравнительной степени, тем прилагательным в сравнительной степени. Так. The sooner you begin to think about your future profession, the easier it is to choose the university to study. The sooner, the easier. The more expensive the car is, the better the quality. The more things there are in the bag, the heavier it is. The nicer the people, the more pleasant it is to speak with them. And these days it is more and more difficult to find a well-paid job in a town. He began to study better and better before the session. Each time he bought a new and a newer car. Comparative constructions. As and as. Такой же прилагательный в положительной степени, как not so as and as. Не такой прилагательный в положительной степени, как Her children are as high as their father. This notebook is as powerful as that one. The subjects are not so interesting as the ones we studied in the first term. The teacher in mathematics isn't so strict as the teacher in geometry. Much, far, a lot, намного. Прилагательным в сравнительной степени. Less, a bit, and slightly. Немного. This film is much more interesting than the one we watched yesterday. Her salad is a lot of tastier than his. Can you speak less quicker? Our car is a bit heavier than theirs. Their balls are slightly bigger than ours. Spelling soft, softer, the softest. Wide, wider, the widest. Thin, thinner, the thinnest. Easy, easier, the easiest. So let's continue. What berries are sweeter, as pear or cranberries. What cat is more thoughtful? A pussy cat is more thoughtful than a tomcat. What parrot is older? The white one or red one? The white one is older than the red one. Is it true whether in picture 2 is so cold as whether in picture 1? The room in picture 1 is as light as the room in picture 2. A green and a yellow armchair is a lot more comfortable than a black one. Is it true a glass vase is far more fragile than a ceramic one? Yes. Compare two pictures, a pear, peach, and a pasty. A pear is tastier than a peach. Compare two pictures, a country house and a new. A country house is newer than a village house. A car and a motor. An instructional manual, a fantastic book, and a little interesting. An instruction manual is little interesting than a fantastic book. So, also we have a positive, comparative, and the superlative form. Long, longer, the longest. Nice, nicer, the nicest. Hot, hotter, the hottest. Happy, happier, the happiest. Tender, tender, the tenderest. Narrow, narrower, the narrowest. Beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful. Beautiful, less beautiful, the least beautiful. So, serious, more serious, the most serious. Active, more active, the most active. Positive form, comparative, and the superlative. The simple, simpler, more simple, and the simplest, the most simple. Cruel, crueler, the cruelest. More cruel, the most cruel. Friendly, clever, calm, gentle, polite, handsome, narrow, pleasant, quiet. All of them are the adjectives, and you must write the comparison degrees. So comparative and the superlative forms. Good, better, the best. Bad, worse, the worst. Many, much, more, the most. Little, less, the least. Far, farther, and further. The furthest, the furthest. Old, older, elder, the oldest, eldest. Не имеет степени сравнения, так как выражает абсолютную степень качества. Woolen, golden, wooden, American, Russian, Italian, weekly, daily, middle, dead, pregnant, left, right, empty, perfect, square, round, medical, foul, and unique. При сравнении двух человек или предметов одинакового качества употребляются as and as, такой же как. В отрицательных структурах not so as, не такой как. He's as young as my brother. She's not so clever as he is. She's not so clever as he. So, what do British teenagers think of teenage magazines and the newspapers? Fill in the gaps as appropriate. Grammar hint. Degrees of comparison of adjectives. Just 17 is as interesting as the Young Telegraph. Just 17 is more expensive than the Young Telegraph. Magazines have more detailed articles about people and the places. Newspapers cover day-to-day issues. It's an example, so at home you must do all these exercises and write down on your notebook. Sky gives a clear picture of your culture. So at home you must do clearer, more interesting, more colorful, younger, trendy, as popular. So in the classroom we can check all these rocks, all these types. So let's continue our lesson. Making comparisons. Yes, we use the comparative adjectives plus than to compare people and the things with other people and the things. This classroom is quieter than the one near reception. The weather is nicer today than yesterday. So we use the plus superlative adjectives to compare people and things with the whole group. This is the quietest classroom in the whole school. This is the nicest day so far this year. Use than, not than, to compare. Use an object pronoun after than. She is taller than him. And look at the spelling rules for forming the comparative and the superlative. Most one-syllable adjectives form the comparative with ear and the superlative with earliest. We use more or the most with long adjectives. Adjective one syllable ending e, stranger, comparative form, and superlative form the strangest. One syllable ending in one vowel plus one consonant. Thinner, the thinnest. One syllable, for example, higher, the highest. One or two syllables ending in y, tedier, the tediest. Two syllables or more sociable, more introverted. The most sociable, the most introverted. So there are some exceptions to the spelling rules. Bored, more bored, the most bored. There are also irregular adjectives. Do you know them? So good, better, the best. Bad, worse, the worst. Far, farther, further, the farthest, the furthest. So making comparisons, the opposite of more is less. The opposite of the most is the least. With the less, the least with short and the long adjectives. This is a film is more frightening than the one we saw yesterday. Do you think so? I think it's less frightening. In fact, I think it is the least scary horror film I've ever seen. We use just as to say that people and the things are equal in some way, and we use it as to say they are not equal. The twins are just as sociable as each other. They're equally sociable. My sister are not as untidy as my brother. My sister are tidier. Match the sentence halves in each pair so the meaning is the same. She is quieter than him, and she is less quiet than him. She is more talkative than him, and he is not as quiet as you. So introverts are as happy as extroverts. Extroverts are just as happy as introverts. Introverts are happier than extroverts, and extroverts are not as happy as introverts. You are the most impatient person I know. I don't know anyone more patient than you. So you are the most patient person I know. You are the least patient person I know. So you are the most impatient person I know, and you are the least patient person. So fill in the gaps with the correct form of the adjectives in brackets and use the imperative and superlative forms and as also. The small black square on the left seems small white square smaller than the white square on the right. The inner circle on the right appears to be outer circle on the left. The small gray square on the left looks darker than the small gray square on the right. So at home you must do all these examples. Also, the next one is also about the filling the gaps, travelers, ferries. So you must also do at home. The third one is that you are signing up to such social networking site. So do you have any old brothers or sisters? Are you happy now? We are not young. So at home you must write down all these examples on your notebook at classroom we must check up with you.